Welcome back to Truck Central. Mr. Justin Wheeler here with my 2000 Chevy Silverado. In today's video, we are going to be installing the 4 most common types of bed covers available for most trucks, but this truck specifically. We've got a soft rolling, a soft folding, a hard folding, and a hard rolling. I think that covers all our bases. Every bed cover has a application. Not one is better than the rest. It just depends on what kind of practical functionality you need out of them and what your price point is. Now, all of these are relatively inexpensive, $1,000 or less, with the hard rolling being the most expensive and the soft rolling obviously being the least expensive. But there is a place for each and every one of these. It just depends on what you want to do with it. All right, so here's how this is going to go. I've installed all 4 different types of bed covers on other vehicles in the past, so I kind of have a feel for how this is going to go. I'm going to start with what should be the easiest, start with the soft rolling and work our way up to the hard rolling. So we'll move these out of the way, and I'm not going to show you step by step how all these go, but I will tell you about how long it takes and let you know if I have any hiccups along the way. So with that, we're going to get started on bed cover number 1. Now we will of course leave links to each one of these in the description. Let's do it. We are unboxed and it is 10:56. It's mostly just 3 parts: the actual bed cover material, 2 rails, and some hardware. Should go pretty quick. 30 minutes. 30 minutes was all it took, and I've got to be honest, this fit really well. It's a easy install. Most of these go together the same way. They incorporate the little track and it clamps to the side of the bed rail, and then the cover just bolts into a hole on the front of each track, and you're done. And I will say that I like the way it kind of terminates here against the bed cap. One thing I was a little worried about, and I'm still a little worried about for these other bed covers, is how well or how nicely it will play with the existing bed caps. Now, not every truck has these. A lot of them do, because over time, the tops of these bed rails just get wrecked. And this truck is a little beat up underneath, so I would like to keep these if at all possible. And this system will allow you to do that. So if you're not familiar with how these work, you drop the tailgate, you pull the latch, and then you just roll it back. Now, admittedly, this is not the most elegant solution. I think everyone's kind of aware of that. But there are some pros to this style of Velcro and roll setup. And that is, it's very small. It takes up almost no space. You've got straps that come around and lock in place. A little bungee action. There you go. And you have to compromise almost no bed space whatsoever. I've used soft covers on and off for years in multiple different trucks, and one of the reasons I go to it, or have chosen it over the years, is because you don't lose any bed space. You don't lose area in the bed either. If I needed to put a washer and a dryer in here, you can do that with the soft rolling bed cover. You can't do that with every bed cover, and we'll kind of take a look at that with some of the others and see. You'll see that this gives you the most space. A little close up. It's got a slightly shiny finish. Yeah, looks good. You see, it's just got these 3 clamps on each side. When you're by yourself, the first one's a little bit of a booger. But if you have any friends, it would make this go really fast. It'd probably cut this from a 30-minute install to a sub 10-minute install. Really easy, really straightforward. All right, so let's close it. So you lock it into the little guides here. It snaps into place. Now, I've always been in the habit of, once I snap it into place, I'll go back around and I'll pull the top tight to eliminate any wrinkles And it just looks a little bit better going down the road if you have it nice and tight. And you can see this pulls tight really well and really easily. A couple other advantages to this system that I hadn't seen before is that with the way those clamps work, you can adjust the height of this up and down a little bit. So if you want this to sit flush with the bed rails, you can. If you want to bring it up a little bit, you can. And they have these tensioning blocks that go in on the front of the rails. And so if you're not happy with the tautness of the cover, you have like adjustable, I think there's 4 adjustable places that you can fine tune that to where you get just the perfect tightness you want. But the instructions, the default instruction tension setting that it tells you to do worked really well for me. So we'll recap once we're done the pros and cons of each, but just to recap this one real quick: cheap, easy to install, some adjustability that you can't get on a hardcover, and plays nice with bed rail caps. I would be happy to run this one. We'll see how the others go. Time is 11:50. Let's see if we can beat 30 minutes. Holy smokes. Can you see that? It's been 10 minutes. This one is even easier and faster to install than the soft rolling. Very impressed. No tools required. This thing is literally held on by a clamp on each side in the front. It's got a big knob on it. It just grabs the underside of the bed rail. And the spring-loaded handles in the rear that you just pull up and down on, and they put tension on the bed cover. So some obvious differences to the soft rolling. This one does not fit within the bed rails. This sits directly on top of the bed rails, which means it also works with a bed cap. It even talks about that in the instructions. Speaking of instructions, they don't send you paper instructions, but they send you a warranty card with a QR code so you can just look at it on your phone. So that's kind of nice, actually. And it has a warranty. That's awesome. So let me bring you in a little closer. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about on these handles. To open it or to secure it, you just pull down on these handles and they just come off. And then in true trifold fashion, let me get you over here to the side a little bit, we just fold her up. Fall down, handle. And there she goes. And then it's got a buckle for transport. Now you can go down the road. That's really solid. And then in reverse, obviously you just unbuckle. And before I roll it back up, this is kind of what I was talking about the soft rolling. This is its most open position. So while it's quick and easy and affordable, you will have to keep in mind this is how much bed space you have now for anything taller than your bed rails. So it's a little bit of a compromise. The good news is, though, I could reach in here on this knob and I could have this whole thing off of here in minutes. So I guess it's not really a compromise if you think about it like that. It comes on and off so easy that if it's in the way, you just take it off. So now we'll shut her back down. You grab your clamps. And you're done. So, pros of this system: you're gonna have much better water protection with this system. I mean, this thing is gonna completely shed water away from the inside of your truck bed. And on the inside here, there's a little piece of plastic or rubber that actually is making contact with the tailgate. Even in the front towards the cab, we are completely over the front edge of the well, the front of the bed wall, rail. You know what I'm talking about. So this is going to have much better waterproofing characteristics. It's also got these 4 aluminum bows installed here, so you're not going to get nearly as much of the flappy. There's no Velcro. You don't have to tighten it. It stays under tension with these aluminum bows, and it's going to be a lot more, it's going to sit a lot more still going down the road. That's one of the downsides to the soft rolling. If you don't have it really, really tight, sometimes they can do that wave. We've all seen that. But yeah, I'm actually kind of impressed by this one. Up next, the hard tri-fold, hard folder. She's a little heavier, so we'll see if this is as easy for one person. But if it goes anything like the soft one we just did, it should be a piece of cake. 12-13. Let's get it. Okay, 19 minutes later, the Gator hard folding cover is installed. I didn't show you guys much of that either because, well, it's so simple. There's really not much to show. It utilizes the same 6 bed rail clamps that the soft unit does. They just clamp the track onto the side, and then this guy just sets into the track, and there are 4 clamps on the front panel, the fixed panel, that attach it to the tracks. And just like all these hard bed covers, you pull this string, or it's not a string, it's like a cable. It releases, and there's also a latch and a cable on the center section. And buckles. Ooh, nice little strap retainer too. I'll show you that. That's kind of nifty. They're getting fancy with these things. Didn't used to have all these extra features. All right. Let me take you in a little closer. So it buckles, and then it's got this little clip. That way your strap's not flapillating the whole time. Good weather tight seal here. It's also probably worth mentioning that all these bed covers come with gaskets and weather stripping. I have not been installing those because this is just kind of a demo. I don't want to stick on the adhesive and then have to just rip it right back off. So some of these will seal a little better, obviously, once you get all that stuff buttoned up. And there's 2 on each side, so 4 clamps that attach this to the rails. And this one also has integrated drain plumbing, drain pipe, drain hose. You know what I'm trying to say. I didn't put those in yet either because I would have to drill a hole in the liner, and I didn't want to mess with that yet. We'll wait and see which one we like the best. But yeah, that's that. And I think you can kind of tell what happens next. Undo the buckle. The whole thing goes underneath that strap holder. This one was a little bit more of a 2-man operation. This isn't super light, but one guy can definitely do it. And then it just folds back down. So this bed cover has a couple different options. You could have it fully closed, obviously. You can have it partially open. You might be able to get a dresser or a small refrigerator in here, or you can open it all the way, which is with the 2 panels open. But this space is still not, you can't occupy this section of the bed with something tall. Like the soft folding, you'd have to take it all the way out. Now this isn't hard to take out, but it's not quite as friendly as the lightweight soft option, but it could be done. And I have a friend who has one of these that I've seen him take his off a few times just so he can move big stuff. So some pros of this system. Its waterproofing abilities, characteristics are probably equal to the soft one. It's all going to be about how good your fit up is and can you get these gaskets nice and flat. You will, over time, probably see these hinge points begin to lift at the rubber, and that's kind of just an inevitable thing that's going to happen. It's just inherent to the design of this style of bed cover. It's not going to let in a bunch of water, but it probably won't be completely 100% dry. You may get a little drip or two, but that's really with almost any bed cover. I even used to have a fiberglass bed cover, the old ARE style, that went all the way over, and water would still get in. Not much, but some. Cons to this style: it's a little more expensive, but it is heavier duty, but you're going to lose a little bit of bed space. But if you're never hauling anything, more than 2 feet tall, this is a really good option because you don't lose any of the bed space underneath the cover, which with hard covers, that is something you got to think about. And we'll go over that in the next bed cover. So we will take this one off after I kind of give you a closer look. See, it's got a nice textured finish. And that will lay down some as it warms up. It's got a little memory to it. But yeah, really clean look. I'd run that for sure. And real quick before I forget, the hard folding, from a security standpoint, these might be the best option. So if you keep valuable stuff in your truck and it's important to keep it secure, these are probably my favorite choice for that, because like the soft rolling, and the soft folding, the latch mechanism has to be actuated from the inside with the tailgate down. So if your tailgate is shut and locked, you can't open this. Not easily. And obviously this metal hard surface is much more of a deterrent than a soft bed cover. So from a security standpoint, I really like these. All right, last but definitely not least, the hard rolling canister style bed cover. All right, we're gonna get this thing unboxed. We're gonna see if I can put it on by myself. She's got a little, she's not light in the loafers. So I'll get as far as I can, and I may have to recruit a little help. We'll see. So it is 12:50 on the dot. Let's see how this goes. All right, so the hard rolling took a little bit longer. A couple reasons. One, there's more steps involved. Two, I lost the instructions. And three, I had to make some modifications. The bulkhead bed cap, that's what it's a bulkhead. The bulkhead plastic piece from the drop-in liner, it was fighting me. So I had to pull it back out and then trim that down and put it back in. And now I think we're pretty close. This one's going to need some additional fine-tunement, but I'm going to wait just a little bit. My tailgate, these latches are just shot, completely shot. We're on bare metal, so it doesn't stay where it's supposed to stay. So right now there's a little bit of a gap there, but once I replace that latch, this gasket will be nice and pressed against the tailgate, which is what you want. But anyway, this one is an improvement to the rolling hardcover like I have on my truck. My truck, the latch and lock mechanism is on the outside, which is what I don't like about some of them. This one, it's just like the others. Everything's from the inside. So I guess everyone's kind of getting on board with that style. Similar to the hard folding, it's got a cable. And this actually has stops integrated in. So there's a latch point that the cable engages into at the end, at the beginning, or vice versa, however you look at it. And then there's one more in the center, and you can put it wherever you want. Slide it along the rail. See, so that's where it landed. And then all the way Again, when you open it, it'll lock. Oh, it already did lock. And that one could be moved in or out. Chink. Good click. Then the shut. It's got a nice finish. Aluminum panels. Got the gasket here that goes over the bulkhead. Underneath, you can see the kind of handle you're working with. And you pull the handle. And those are the stops on both sides. Latched. And honestly, you could take this middle one out if you don't even need a mid stopping point, which I may do. I don't foresee needing that. Locked. So there are pros and cons to the hard rolling bed cover compared to the soft rolling and the hard folding, but in general this is going to give more waterproofing, security, and will actually hold up to, I think they say, up to 500 pounds. The major con is the price. It is right around $1,000 for this make and model, whereas the hard folding is about $750, and both of the soft rolling and folding are about $300. So the cost is the big downside to this one, but in every other aspect it's probably better, other than the canister space that you have to displace with bed space. So since it rolls in, that space is now occupied, so you're going to lose, oh, I don't know, 1 foot out of your 6.5 foot bed, leaving you with about 5.5. So that's probably the biggest downside. Other than that, it's probably better in every way. So I think we're going to leave this one on here for now. We may swap it out down the road. We'll see. This does take a lot longer to take off and on, so we may just leave this one for a while. So I hope this bed cover comparison has been helpful. All of them go on in more or less the same way. No special tools are needed, no drilling. All of them can incorporate the bed rail caps. So all in all, it's pretty smooth. Instructions help, or would have helped in my case if I hadn't lost them. But you know, you don't always see a variety of bed covers on older trucks like this, so this might be a good insight into what your truck could look like if you've got an old, new body style Chevy, half ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, what have you. So before we go, one final thank you to Real Truck. Whether you need bed covers, mud flaps, floor mats, exhaust, intakes, you name it, they got it. Leave me a comment down below. You know, I look forward to talking to you. And as always, thanks for watching.